Hey, what's up? Ian McIntosh from Jesus Culture here. Today I want to share with you something kind of special. I'm going to give you a bit of a sneak peek behind the scenes at some of the sounds and tones of the newest Jesus Culture project that we literally just recorded about 5 days ago. Like it's fresh. This thing is we haven't even finished post-production on it, but there's some cool concepts and ideas that we worked on these songs that I think that you could benefit from, and I want to share them with you. We took a new approach, I guess, to some conventional ideas, and I think that it'll be fun for people to see and maybe a little bit enlightening and give you some ideas about what's possible. So if you want to hear something new, you're going to love the video. Now, if you know a keyboard player who's way into software and way into new sounds and new ideas and new concepts, definitely share this with them right now, because it's kind of hard to find these kinds of videos, right? Like if you get on YouTube and type in, I don't know what you type in. So anyway, share this with a friend if you know someone who wants to see it. So, all right. Now, basically what we did is, instead of, very classically, one of the things that I think I actually helped popularize in some weird sort of way is the concept of a drone pad. This, like, the 1 in 5 of a key. If you don't know what it is, it's the 1 in 5 of a key. So if you're in C, it's like G and C, right? That'd be the 5 and 1, I guess. But C and G, and it sustains out forever across the entire song. And if you do it right, you pull it off right, it sounds great, and it gives a little bit of ambience. And it's a great trick live because, you know, it basically makes you grow a third hand, if you will. Like you can play piano and have a pad playing, but it doesn't sound like piano pad. Just gives you a little bit of ambience and gives you some options that otherwise you wouldn't have. And I think it's still a really useful thing. But one of the directions we took, and honestly, I confess, a lot of this is Jeffrey's genius in this particular case. I was way into this stuff back in the Chicago era and the New York era, and really put a lot of effort into this kind of stuff. And somehow I forgot about it. I don't know, like the last couple of years I've been way into production, so I forgot it. And Jeffrey brought it back up and was messing with these different tones and textures, and I went, oh my gosh, why'd I ever let this go? Because it's really kind of cool, and I think you're going to love it. So basically the idea is, instead of doing the 1 in 5, instead of doing classic textures and classic pad sounds or synth sounds, going more ambient and creating tones and textures out of other types of sounds. This sounds very vague, right? And honestly, the actual how-to is a little bit outside the scope of this video, but I do want to share with you the examples. So I have pulled open in a couple of different examples in Reason, and basically these are audio files, and then I've also done the 2-note pad thing next to it, just to A-B. Now, I obviously can't share with you the actual songs fully, because, I mean, that would be like 100 times I'd get in trouble for that, which I'm sure you can anticipate, although some of you might go, oh. So, okay, basically, classically, the 2-note pad for a song would sound like this. Would sound like, let's try again. There we go. Just 2 notes. You might put it pretty quiet in the background. You might verb it out a little bit, but it would just sustain behind, and then just keep playing forever throughout the whole song. But listen to the difference real quick between this and what we had. It's kind of awesome, right? And actually, when it comes down to it, we'll probably layer both in there, right? Something like that. It has so much more character, and it becomes this kind of iconic and magical moment where, you know, there's a little bit of, I don't know, there's a little bit of, you know, what's the word? Wonder, I guess? There's a little bit of wonder in it where you feel like, oh, what's going to happen next, right? Where, you know, this 2-note pad is just kind of a 2-note pad. There's no wonder in that. It's literally a drone. But then there's like this cool vibe. In this case, it's made from a couple different guitar parts, I believe. This is definitely a Jeffrey one, but it's made from a couple different guitar parts, and droned and then sustained and looped forever. Let's see, what's another one? Let's see if let me see if I can get that back real quick. Here we go. Okay, so this is another one, same kind of example here. We have this 2-note pad. Or It's kind of awesome, right? Like it's a very different sort of vibe that you're getting out of this. And the last example, again, is the 2-note pad. Oh, I clicked the button and the button did something. Hang on. There we go. 2-note pad. Or anyway, you get the idea. This is something that is very magical, right? This is something that ends up changing the game a bit. Like when and you can kind of leave on those, right? Like on the album, there's not these big moments of drone that are going to happen because you want to get from song to song, and well, I mean, there might be a moment or two, but this isn't like a long drawn out moment. But live, think about how much space there could be and how much wonder there could be in that moment where there's just this kind of drone happening. There'd be guitar swells, there'd be all sorts of stuff going on, but it creates emotion rather than just sits there. Right? Rather than just filling a role and filling space, it actually creates emotion and adds to the actual response. Now, how do you pull this kind of stuff off? Well, honestly, there's a lot of ways to pull it off. There's a bazillion of them. Like you can create these sounds from almost anything. I've done it from vocals. I've done it from piano notes. I've stretched out sounds. I've shrunk sounds. I've looped sounds. I've actually even taken things off of an iPhone, just real ambience, and put it in there. I know Jeffrey's actually taken like clips from them at the lake on an iPhone, just a mono signal, and done stuff with it. Like there's all sorts of interesting ways to do this. And it's a longer topic. This is something I want to spend a lot of time on, and I'm going to. This is the topic of my upcoming workshop titled Infinite. And basically in this workshop, I'm really excited about this workshop first off, because I've never done a workshop where I get to do all fun stuff, right? Like usually I'm like explaining some theory or some, something or approach or something kind of serious. But this is all fun, right? This is all bonkers stuff where it's just the interesting, weird use cases of software and effects and how to hack your software and almost break it, but then come out with something cool and interesting. And I'm super pumped to teach this. I think it's going to be one of my most interesting and exciting workshops I've done. I think that I almost guarantee anyone who attends it's going to be just rewinding and saying, wait, what? And wondering what's going on, because there's so many cool ways that you can utilize different pieces of software to pull off stuff you've never really thought about. And I'm going to share a bunch of them with you. This is going to be 90 minutes to 120 minutes, so probably 2 hours worth of content of mostly examples, just sharing with you new and cool ways to really hack at audio and transform it to something dramatically different. If you're a keyboard player, you're a sequencer, producer, you're someone who works with computers often, you're going to love this workshop. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if that interests you at all, you really should check out the page. I believe there's a button or there's a link in this video description. And we'll see you there. It's Wednesday. Hang on, when is it? Wednesday, March 8th at 4 p.m. Great. Hope to see you there. Bye.